Shalom, shalom, familia. So on this video, I'm going to share with you the energetic principles behind distraction and how we can transcend distraction and bring it into alignment, productivity, and embodiment of attraction. So go from distraction to attraction. So let's navigate first. I want to go deeper into the root meaning of these words. I feel that if we dive deeper into the meaning that our ancestors put into every word that we speak, that we embody, subconsciously or consciously, we're able to dive deeper into the subtle wisdom behind everything that we are speaking. So the word distraction comes from Latin, and I have it here, write it, that the word distraction comes from the Latin distragere. This means apart and tragere to pull. So literally distraction is to be pulled apart. And then what would be the opposite polarity from distraction? A lot of people think that it's concentration, right? That it's focus. But in reality, the opposite of distraction is traction. So what is traction? Traction, from Latin as well, tragere, to pull. Traction equals pulling forward through resistance. That's powerful. And then what is attraction then? Attragere. At is toward. Tragere, to pull towards. So once we understand that distraction is to be pulled apart, from where? From where you feel that are being pulled apart, from your deepest desire of your soul, right? The reason why you feel pulled apart is because that distraction is creating in you a feeling, and that feeling makes you eventually feel apart from your deepest desire. And the deepest desire is for you to manifest whatever you're ready to be manifested. And I'm going to bring it into something tangible, like some tasks, some things that you know that you want to do, that you must do in order to move forward your desired goal. But you're facing these distractions. And these distractions keep you in that loop, and that loop doesn't allow you to move forward. And what that loop creates, it's a lot of frustration, guilt. So the distraction itself builds up identities based in the outcome that is receiving. But why we're feeling these distractions and how we can pass them from distraction into traction, and from that traction we transcend into attraction. So now that we understand that distraction is to be pulled apart from our natural state and from our deepest desire of our soul, traction will be to pass through that resistance and create that momentum from that resistance. So this goes back to the principles of sensations. Why we're feeling distracted is because our body and mind are trying to avoid a discomfort. That discomfort comes from the mind conceptions, from the beliefs of the mind based in the past experiences. So those past experiences, what the mind is projecting is pain. And that pain, what the mind's trying to do is to avoid that pain, to avoid that sensation of discomfort. So it shows you an external way to get quick gratification, instant pleasure, instead of moving towards that feeling. Sit down with that feeling that is creating resistance and then create that momentum from it. So the key aspect of all of this is how much we can sit down with that resistance. And by us feeling sensations and sensations, you'll see that distractions, we pass to traction. To traction is to pull towards that resistance. How we pull towards that resistance? It's to accept reality as it is, to feel the discomfort, to go to the principles of sensations. Once we are able to accept reality as it is and the sensations that discomfort is bringing, and that our body and mind are trying to avoid through these quick gratifications, and we acknowledge now that if we sit down with that sensation, identities start being peeled. Because the peel from the past, the identity from the past that are created because of distractions, now we sit down with those feelings and sensations, and those sensations show up the real root cause of that feeling. And that root cause of that feeling make us free ourselves from all the conditionings that we have about ourselves all the guilt and shame and make us appreciate reality as it is. And that's where we go from that traction into attraction. What is attraction? It's the gravitational pull from which we are. We attract is by becoming. It's not external outcomes, but the becoming of it. It's the state of being. We are pulling towards the center, and that center vibrates through frequencies. So if we are coming from distractions, what we are projecting, it's the discomfort, and we are creating resistance toward that discomfort, looking for quick gratification, and then reaffirming identities such as I have ADHD, I cannot concentrate, I'm not disciplined, my God, what I'm doing, I'm losing my time. So then I want to go to the principle of attention, intention, and how attention and intention are the most valuable asset of creation. People think that it's time, but if you go deep and if you are watching this video, it's because you have a level of awareness from which you know that there's limitless of time. Time is limitless. If we go beyond this reality, right? Time is linear and we perceive it, we appreciate it, but in reality, if you realize there's limitless time, it's not about the time, is what you do with that time. How much attention and intention can you bring with the time? That's what gives meaning to the time. Even doing the basic things such as washing the dishes can be so meaningful, more than doing thousands of tasks, thinking that that's going to lead you into your goal. The monks say that 5 minutes of mindfulness, intentional attention towards life is more valuable than millions of dollars. The real value is how much time we can bring attention consciously to everything that we do. And that's what the teaching of the Buddha calls the right mindfulness. The path of mindfulness is to live in mindful space. That's the real value. So now, once we bring attention to the sensations, we're bringing the value. And when we bring that intention, we're diving deeper to recognize what is the discomfort that our body is trying to avoid. What are the layers, beliefs, perceptions, identities that we have been conditioning ourselves? The ADHD, I'm distracted, feeling guilt, I'm not going to be able to do it, I'm a failure. All of this that when we execute and react to that discomfort, we go to distractions because we are subconsciously numbing a pain within ourselves. But if we sit down with that pain, that discomfort, we create that space of traction, and that traction brings attraction, and that attraction builds up the reality that we desire to live, and the traction creates the momentum for it. It's not about numbing through distractions, it's recognizing that distractions have something to show us. That is going back to the basic of feeling this. And once we recognize those senses, we recognize that the key aspect and core aspect of all of these teachings is simplicity. It's just to feel and feel the sensations as they are. We go too much to the mind, thinking that we need a lot of methods, but in reality, it's simple as recognizing that if we're not executing something, it's because there's something within ourselves that is rejecting that. So we must sit down with that rejection and feeling why we're feeling that discomfort and why we're trying to avoid it, looking for instant gratifications. That's what distractions are doing. They're pulling us apart from the deepest desire of our soul, that it's to remember itself and fulfill the service of the light, right? So once we recognize that, you see how everything starts changing into beauty, into light revelation. So let's summarize. If you feel distracted, you're going to start like doing a task that is going to lead you into your desired reality, right? Like your desired job or like your project, and you know that you have to do some tasks. So you start executing the task and you get distracted. If you sit down with that distraction and you feel, what is the feeling that my body and mind are trying to avoid that get me into this distraction of quick gratification? Once you do that, you recognize you pass from distraction into traction. And then from that traction, you bring attraction. And from that attraction, you're able to accept reality as it is. And the energy is changed from resistance into grace because now you embrace it. So hope that this serves you. You can follow us on Instagram. It's at Shimbala. My personal Instagram is it's Rishwa. And also you can download the app, the community app, where we're sharing all of this wisdom, weekly parshas, portions that it's going to help us to navigate life from this living wisdom of ancient traditions, modern science, quantum physics. But most important is to have community that support each other. Also, we're going to release in a few days an immersive program that is called In Purpose, that is for conscious leaders, from which we're going to support each other, create a mastermind to rise together because they may be blocks or constraint of energy that you feel within yourself. You know your purpose, you know your potential, but also you are aware that there's something that is blocking you from act upon the desires of your soul. So what we're going to do here is to tap into this dynamic, these principles, and go into simplicity to support you and help you to see what is it and how we can change that into energy, flow, light for you to experience your higher potential. So hope that this served you. Quick summarize then from distraction, the process is traction, and from traction is attraction. How we transcend from distraction to attraction? Once we embrace distraction as it is, and we go from the sensations. What are the sensations that we try to avoid, right? And we are creating quick gratification. We are tapping to the space of traction that is pulling towards that resistance. And that resistance, once we embrace it, it frees us from the conditioning of the mind and all the identities that we create through that distraction space. And then that creates a pool of energy of attraction. That attraction in the end is the magnetic pull, the state of being from which we are vibrating constantly, even if we are incoherent or coherent. Our key is when we accept reality as it is, we have less layers, and those less layers allow us to observe reality as reality without conditionings, and that makes us be in alignment with the attractive energetics of our soul. Hope that this serves you. Shalom, shalom.